Hello subscriber, today our topic is cars alternators makes the great electric motors. Here is how does it works and how it does to make. The humble motor the humble automotive alternator hides an interesting secret known as the part that converts the power from internal combustion into the electricity needs to run everything else. They can also themselves be used as an electric motor. Here is a circuit of an electric motor as already we discussed in the last topics. The schematic of a simple automotive alternative from a US patent 3329841A that has been discovered in 1963 for the robot Bosch GmbH. These devices almost always take the from a three-phase alternator within a magnetic component supplied by a electromagnetic on a rotor and come within a rectifier and regulator package to convert the higher AC voltage to 120 volt for the new car electric system. Internally they have the connection to the starter coils within appear to the universally wired in a delta configuration, and the pair of a connection to a set of bushes supplying the rotor coils through a set of a slip ring. They have a supersonially high capacity and estimated put the capability as a motor in a several horsepower. Best of all, these are readily available second hand and also supersonially cheapest. The Ford Focus until shown here came from an eBay car breaking and cost only 15,000 up to the 20,000. We already have a shouting way at the mechanically internet device. As you read the let's jump into that. These people thinks that building their own electric vehicles is a fun. One of the interesting fact about watching the UK hockey racer series grows from a bunches of a friend making a silly electric vehicles. Silly electric vehicles to the some approaching a formal racer of a series has been seen the evolution of an art building of a hockey racers. As the slightly grew cousins of the US Power Racing series, it has benefited somewhat from inheriting of some of the evolutionary experience, but they have not stopped hockey racers come up their own vehicles development. They are moved from a slimly mobility and the golf buggy motors to the Chinese electric bicycle, tricycle motors, and now the more advantage constructed a starting of a looking feather affiliated from a motive powers, one promising source for an inexperienced inexpensive, decently powered motor come into the in form of a car alternator. Here is also a picture of a motor or Ford Focus alternator, which is using in a car for charging system. Searching for the car alternator converts the reveal of a variety of pages how to us and guide the many of the can extremely confusing confusing and the honor complex in the particular they are suggested to concerning the tree starter connection within the device to breaking out the individual winding and apply the special wiring configuration to them based upon the experience of converting the quiet and the fuel alternator. This appears uh, surprising as all various models we have to convert it and the hard the same readily to go the delta configuration that needs to the new rewinding at all perhaps it's a time to person a hacky guide within a real alternator and explode in a remaining rhythm while we have it. So we fired up to the prospective to keep the bushes motors by passing above you have got a Ford Focus alternator on the beach before you. How does one go about converting it? Here is a picture of alternating within a front pulley position. The rear gear plates of the alternating within the regulator and rectifier removed, showing the starter winding connection. You should be able to identify the three bundles of thick estimated copper wires coming from the starter coils and the ditches. The rectifier strips from them in some alternative they have a soldered but some other is particularly anything designed they are a spot welding at the end of the dismantling process. You should have the bare alternator within the three sets of starter wires and producing and the bar shaft within the two slip rings whatever remains on the rectifier packs and regulation packs. The next step is to remove the regulator circularly while the preserving the shapes of a regulator obbling bushes assembly and to locate the preventing of a bushes connect from them to meet the regulator yet again they will be copied the quantity of a silicone sporting components to the heck away the elevator regulating system exposed. These are universally some from a hybrid circuit on a ceramic metal and substance within the connection emerging from the moduled plastic surrounding them being soldered pads on the edge. It should be reactively straightforward to identify the pair of a connection of a bushes carefully under soldering they have pushed out the regulator circuit. Some pictures are showing in this. That will be the first picture is showing the connection of a motor while the connection is motors and the other side after connection where the wires and the cables are going. Here is a picture which is completely unboxed. Alternator which is working as a motor after connections. Finally, you should have to bear the alternator, a bushing pack within the missing regulator circuit and the plastic dust cover. Simply soldering three suitable large gauges wires to the three sets of starter wires and cover them into the heat shrink solder. A pair of lighter wire in the bushes connection and a reassemble for a bushing packing to the alternator. You may need to put some from a strands relief on the wires to the bushes. The reactive wire package does not need the reassembling. So many models you have maybe make the spacer to replace it in a supporting one side of a bush's pack. Holes can be made for a dust cover for the various wires and dust cover fitted into the all wire packing through. At this point you have converted your alternator and all the remains in the drives. It within a sum fortunately that is a surprisingly simple process within half of a shell parts. Driving your new motors means driving with the new motor. Here is a picture which is showing the volt converter, which is AC converter to the DC power volt, and then will be run. A so-called bushless DC motor is simply an AC motor within a bundle of electronics and turns to the DC supply into the AC on the run it. They have two advantages over a Bush's DC motors is reliability, efficiency, and the requires the speed control but of experience of a more complexly. The good news for the people to convert the automatically alternator into the electric motor is that the whole ranges of a Bush's motor and the control can be handled for not a lot of money in the form of electronic speed controller ESC. Instead of a Chinese electric bicycle or tricycle, they takes to the battery DC supply and produce the three-phase AC suitable drives into a connection of a delta connection motors, and they work well within a converting alternator. EACs have a two models nodes only motor within the hollow backfeeding sensors in the alternator. Usually the wires links needs to be made and unable this the results in the found that the alternator drive while motor within 360 volt or 48 supply, and as long as a controller with enough power is used, then they don't really very quickly. AliExpress says the bushless motors controller of a 15 kilowatts trumps penalty of a choice. Given a control within the one more requirement of an alternator to become a motor, it may be thus having the DC supply to its router winding. It needs to have about a 2 and 3 ampere falling through its which be current and limited PSU module performance that task adamantly and make it the motor bit and less efficiency and the permanent magnetic one output cause the scrape. The motor features and the pictures designed it to be ones of a pairing providing transition in the new car and the assault on the air and the personal experience within the SMIDSY. The robot would be leads to give them in fired air cooling button. Unlike the electric tricycle motors, they have seen cope well within the getting an alternative motor and might not be one. The motor has been the solution where what the small and scales and with being aware that they have option without unaccepted wiring rituals. If you convert one of the project, please make sure to write it up and send it our tips line. Thanks for watching our video and please subscribe my channel still not subscribed yet. Thanks for support. Thank you.